Hey everybody, welcome to this next episode of The Common Ground. I'm your host, Mawan, Big Red, or LJ, and my co-host, Mac, also known as Mac Ill 417. And here we are to get your thoughts on what we say.
Okay, yeah, we getting in on that Juicey Smollett.
Yeah.
Yeah, what y'all think about that? You know, let us know in the comments what you think. I thought Chappelle's comedy, stand-up comedy was hilarious. I laughed my butt off. But there are some serious tones to the whole thing as far as the $130,000 that I guess that they were Chicago Police Department was trying to get in a lawsuit, and the effects that it has on us as Black America and, you know, the gay America. What do you think, man?
Well, my thoughts on Jussie. I think he should be held liable. I think.
Yeah, but he wanted.
No, he can afford it for one. I mean, he was getting a couple $100,000, if I'm not mistaken, per episode of Empire, so he can afford it. And he filed a fake police report that made national news and tried to blemish the president, and he does a good enough job of blemishing himself. He doesn't need anybody helping him. So he tried to blemish the president, make it a hate crime, and increase racial tensions because he said it was white people.
We got enough of that.
So yeah, we don't need that any more incitement or racial tension increasing. Especially if we as Black people are claiming to be the victim all the time. You know, how does this make it look when a real police report is filed and it's legitimate? Is Jussie going to be in the back of somebody's mind? Are they just trying to get some publicity? Are they trying to, you know, make people look bad? So I think he should pay, even if it's not the whole thing. I think he should pay some sort of fine. Yes, I know he already lost his job because Empire's writing him out.
Well, you
that's
know,
his fault.
He wanted to further his career. I mean, at least that's what, you know, word on the street is. He wanted to further his career. You know, maybe parlay that into a book deal. Maybe get his own show. I guess he wanted to do the whole Oprah deal. You know.
Well, if you want to further your career, you usually use your talent. You don't make up a lie and try to deceive a whole country full of people and make yourself look like a victim. You use your talent. And if he was talented enough, his career would have got further. There was nothing holding him back. I mean, Hollywood is the biggest pro-gay organization in the world.
Yeah. So
he had nothing, and there aren't that many really good Black actors. So there were, especially if they need some gay scenes, you know, they get Jussie. He doesn't have a problem kissing a man. Get him, you know. So no, that was just the wrong way to go about it. No, what are some of your thoughts? What do you think he should go to jail?
Well, what he did was a felony, for sure. I don't, you know, the law is the law. If it does carry jail time, he should be treated like everybody else. You know, if he's got good enough lawyers that's going to get him off the jail time, so be it. He's got the money to do it. This thing's been going on since 2007, and I feel 2007, right?
No. This just happened last year. This past winter.
Well, 2000 what? This past winter?
Yes, the winter of 2018.
I thought this was like old shit that Dave Chappelle fanned the flames on.
No. Dude, where were you at when all this was going on?
Training.
You must have been doing something because this. Oh my goodness, this was a joke on Facebook for weeks because dude was saying he was out in a polar storm walking from Subway, got jumped by 2 white dudes that poured bleach on him, put a noose around his neck, and all this other stuff. And when the police come to his apartment, he doesn't have any bleach on stains on his clothes.
Was he at least smelling like bleach?
No, he's still holding the Subway sandwich with no rope burns on his neck or anything
The sandwich
like that.
wasn't messed up?
No, he was still holding the sandwich. And so it's just like everybody, I don't know how...
He was going to eat all of that sandwich.
I don't know how everybody didn't... I mean, I guess the 2 Nigerians that helped him do this, they must have been idiots too because... maybe they were just greedy. They got $3,500 apiece.
$3,500, that ain't nothing.
Yeah, but they're not in trouble, so they made a little easy come up. But it was just like they should have been like, "Come on, man, nobody's gonna believe this.
I would have wanted more money.
Nobody's gonna believe this.
I'm not gonna put myself out there, possibly get myself in trouble for what I guess $1,500 a piece. That ain't happening.
Well, so
especially when I know that you on TV. Every week making cheddar,
right.
and you only gonna give me $3,500. They're stupider than he is to me.
Hey, they were all fools for. He was an idiot for coming up with it, and they were fools for going along with it. So I mean, he. All I can say is he's lucky that we are a forgiving community. Things worse than this have been done, and people still manage to revive their careers. We'll see what happens with some of these other people that have come up with the stories are coming out about them. What happens to them? You know, like Kevin Spacey and
I forgot about
the crotch grabber and the director Harvey Weinstein. Let's see what happens with him.
Well,
so I hope all of them go to jail.
I was about to say, I don't think, especially Weinstein, I don't think he is going to ever see any jail time, man. How long has this been going on?
Well, if you got good enough lawyers, you can drag it out forever.
So he's got big money.
So that's the thing. So what was your favorite part of the Chappelle special?
That, well, you know, I've been watching, you know, it's been like three specials so far, or 4?
I'm not sure. I just know about this one. I have Netflix specials or just
Netflix specials, man.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah, and on this particular special, this would be it. The whole thing was entertaining and funny, but this was like the candle on top of the icing of the cake. And at first when he was like Juicy, I'm like Juicy.
Yeah.
Then it clicked, you know, when he started saying Empire. I was like, oh hell no, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, only Dave Chappelle, I guess, can figure a way to roast this guy like he did, and roast him he did, you know.
Yeah, I give him a lot of credit because nothing was off limits. You know, a lot of comedians
are scared,
especially in this day and age, are scared to talk about stuff. They can't use certain words, you know, because they're worried about offending people. I think our culture is too sensitive to begin with. You know, it's not like people didn't get offended in the past. You know what? They either they dealt with it or they moved on. They just didn't seem so sensitive like we are now. You know, so that's my thing. I think my favorite part was when he was talking about the white drug addicts. I mean, it was kind of bad, but it was still funny. I mean, because I've seen some white people on crystal meth before and heroin and just the way he was making the sound about with the shotgun, that part was just hilarious to me. So birdshot, buckshot, birdshot, buckshot. After that, it's just buckshot, boom, 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 and so.
Yeah.
So he I think him mentioning that brought attention to it. You know, drugs are a big problem in any community. Just depends on what the drug is. Different communities have their own drugs of choice.
Yeah, I think that he wanted I think the spotlight of the whole thing of that particular part was, I guess, the way things were different as far as how society at large and the legal system handled the, their epidemic that they're going through with opioids versus the crack back in the days,
Absolutely. But I mean,
so that, even though it's funny as hell, there's strong, serious undertones,
But this ought to give you something to look at. Both parties handled the crack epidemic poorly. It wasn't just Republicans. It wasn't just Democrats. And most people will just want to say Ronald Reagan, but that's who came up with the Just Say No campaign. So
it wasn't like all bad. Like all he was trying to do was just military offense against black people.
And supposedly the CIA selling cocaine in the black community was under his administration. But then you had the following administration, not George Bush, but Bill Clinton coming out with the '94 crime bill.
That was even worse.
So that
was worse.
Instead of him saying, let's stop selling the cocaine in the black community and just punishing them as we see fit. No, we're going to make a special law for them. So now you're at a point where you get more jail time for crack than you do for powder cocaine, and all crack is some baking soda. Added, right? So both parties are to blame. I want to put that out there before someone tries to say it was Ronald Reagan or George Bush that ruined the black community with the crack epidemic. No, Bill Clinton had his part, or the Democratic Party had their part afterwards with the passing of the crime bill.
So I got a question, because we're getting off subject. Do you think the Obamas got Jussie out of this as far as the legal aspects of this?
No, it's not over with. I don't know. I don't know.
Right now, it's just the lawsuit, right?
Barack has no pull in Chicago. I mean, he probably does have pull in Chicago, but I don't think. I think he's trying to stay out of politics. He's
been quiet
because he doesn't want to throw support behind Joe Biden, because I don't know. He's losing his mind on stage. And I think he's almost going to kind of have to be forced to throw his support behind him, because that was his vice president. And if the Democrats want the White House back, they're going to need Obama to support Biden, because how does that look if your former boss won't support your run? So I think he's just biding his time so he can maybe throw his support behind a better Democrat candidate. I don't know who that would be, but Biden's the front runner. So
I think that as far as Jussie Smollett, and I'm thinking still Juicey Smollett.
That's all right. That's fine.
Jussie Smollett.
Hey, he's got to take every joke that comes this way, because he brought this stupidity on himself. He's got to take every joke that comes this way.
This is gonna ride with him probably forever. That name, but Jussie Smollett.
Excuse me.
I think that he's, from him doing this, it's definitely going to make it a little harder, for gay people that say, "Oh, I've been assaulted," or "This person's done this to me," or even people of color. Do you think he's made that harder for us? I think he's going to make it a little harder. Say I say I got attacked, or something went down, police gonna give me a second look and be like, well, is he telling the truth? Is he not telling the truth? I think he kind of set things back a little bit.
Well, they have to investigate no matter what. So I don't know if he did any damage to the gay community or the black community.
I'm wondering if
to
they
be
feel
honest, I'm
betrayed.
not really too concerned about anything that's done to the gay community, unless it's violence, of course. But until a gay person mentions that they're gay, they have every single right any other person has.
So what you saying? Because if they do mention that they're gay, they don't got rights?
Well, they bring discrimination upon themselves by telling people that they're gay.
Well,
I don't.
Being a person of color, we get that anyway.
No. But see, that's just it. Unless you are some flamboyant homosexual person.
Flaming?
Yes. No one knows you're gay. You choose to put that information out there. I don't want to know your sexuality. I don't want to know nothing about your sex life unless it involves me. Okay? So, and if you're gay, it's not going to involve me. So let's make that 100% perfectly clear off rip. I'm just saying, our race is seen from the moment we're looked at.
The moment we're born.
You take a roll man of various races, you can tell what race each one is for the most part. You cannot tell their sexuality just looking at a roll man standing there. Something has to be demonstrated or something has to be said.
Mannerisms tell them.
Or not every gay person is effeminate either. So that really can't. That's not a good descriptor either. So I mean, I don't know any straight people that walk around telling everybody they're straight. It's just I'm on gay overload. Okay, every other story it seems like on the news or
my issue is when I'm watching TV, and then I mean, it could be a really good show, that's playing on, and I'm hyped about it and stuff, and everything's going good, and like 4 or 5 episodes in, out come the man on man tongue, and then dude, I am not with that.
That's why I stopped watching Empire. In the very first season, my wife had watched a couple episodes and she told me about it. And then I watched the first episode. I was getting kind of hooked. That was good. And then they got like episode 2 or 3. Jussie in bed with a dude, and they actually showed them making. I was just like, all right, I'm done. I haven't watched another episode since.
And my thing is this: if people want to be gay, they can be gay. It's their life. But like you say, man, I don't want that just thrown in my face.
Right? Don't. And if you want to call me homophobic, that's fine.
I'm not homophobic.
I'm not.
I just don't.
I'm not afraid.
I'm just not into that.
I'm not afraid of them. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. And I don't like it. So that doesn't make me afraid of
here's the thing.
them.
Just because we don't like it doesn't mean that because they want to put it out there that we have to accept it.
But that's just it. You have to, or you're a bigot.
Well, damn, I guess I'm a bigot because if I don't like it, if I don't like anything, I'm not going to accept it.
Well, this leads into one of my questions for you, since you are the Democrat-leaning co-host on the show. How does this make you feel about the left, seeing how hard that they are trying to come down on Dave Chappelle because of this special?
Well, I won't say the 2 words that I would say, that starts with an F and starts with a T on the second word, but that's how I would feel about it. As a man, as a comedian, as a part of being an entertainer and just having freedom of speech. If this is the way he feel, this is the way he feel. I mean, I don't feel that his material was in an insulting manner.
Oh, sure it was.
I mean,
they were made fun of. Anytime you make fun of somebody, they take it as an insult, unless they got a really good.
I'm sure Dave Chappelle could have said a lot worse.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying? He made fun of him. He didn't attack the dude. He just made fun of him. There's a difference.
Well, he went in on gays, lesbians, trans
yeah.
people, transgender, but to me, this just gave me, just kind of gave me another understanding of the left is they want you to toe the line and they don't want you to think for yourself.
Well, not only that, what about adding to that? I guess us being a part of Black America, I guess we were supposed to automatically have his back, and Hollywood feel that Black America didn't back this man, when this all came out.
Well, that's just part of the thing. Like I said, Black people, we have to get out of this groupthink mentality. Just because a Black man is in trouble, we don't have to stand by and support him until we have all the facts. Then once we have the facts, if he's guilty, he needs to be condemned and punished. If he's innocent, then he needs our support, and then we stand by him. I don't stand by anybody just because they're the same race as me. There's a-holes in every race, okay? And if you're an a-hole just because you're the same color as me, you're not getting my support. But, that's what the left seems to be doing. They throw black faces in front of us and thinking we'll fall in line and talk about and try to tell us what we should believe and how we should think. And we should follow them. And that's just not how I'm wired.
Well, I was watching the program and they were saying that to be a victim is virtuous. The way that came across to me was that that if you're a victim, if you're gay or if you're Black, you kind of hold a shield of virtue, meaning that because you're the victim, anybody white, they have no solid ground to have any type of argument against you.
Well, a victim mentality makes weak people to me.
I hear that.
I hate blamers. Okay? If your situation is bad, it's not always the white man's fault. Most of the time it's yours. Yeah, you might have been born in a bad situation, but what have you done to improve it legally? Let's make that clear. Because there's a lot of people that try to improve the situation illegally by hustling, selling drugs, or doing whatever. And when they get caught, they pay for it. But what are you doing to improve your situation legally if you are not on that path? So life is like anything else. You get out of it what you put into it. If you don't get up and work hard, you may not be rich, but you can probably live a better life than what you're living now.
Well, I would be more concerned about people that want to wear the armor of virtue on false pretenses.
That too. I think to me, people that are virtuous are people who survive adversity, who overcome adversity. Anybody can be a victim. Most victims are weak. If you look in nature, the stronger animal chooses his victim out of the one that looks the weakest, the one that he's able to subdue and down. He picks the weakest looking. The thief on the street, he looks for the weakest, easiest target to rob.
He looks for the sucker.
The bully, who does he look for? The weakest looking one. So,
and they check you until you prove that they're wrong.
But you show you're not a victim by being stronger or faster or a little bit better.
Or standing up.
Yeah, so if you want to be a victim, then you're just being weak to me.
I choose not to be a victim on nothing.
So
yeah, that's just how I feel about that. Yeah, I got a quote here from Trevor Noah. It's like, there's a silver lining, and well, I'm kind of paraphrasing too, and supposedly that people hate Jussie Smollett Jussie Smollett, for being black and gay, but now people hate him because he is a butthole. In other words, they are judging him on the content of his character and not of the color of his skin. And that, my friends, is progress. And to me, that is a statement based on making America great in our future.
Well, he should be judged on the content of his character. I don't know enough about him to tell you about his character. I know
you
that
should be judged on what you do, and
yeah,
not for what you are.
I know he's looking like an idiot now because of this alleged hate crime that he didn't think all the way through. But other than that, he may have done plenty of good in his life. Every good person still makes mistakes. Some bigger than others, some worse than others. So he could be a good person. He's just gonna have to ride this out because this is his monster.
This is his time. This is his time.
This is his monster he created, and to me, he's making himself look worse the longer he proclaims he is innocent. Okay, unless two white men step forward and say where it was that had the MAGA hats on and we poured bleach on him and had the rope on him,
So you think white America watch Empire? Dave Chappelle said they don't watch him.
Oh, I'm sure white America watch. They have to see what we're doing to market to us.
Yeah.
Okay, whether white people like us or not, they love our green paper. So and they have to get it however
they
can.
love that color if they don't love nothing else, right?
So and we do too. If we can figure out a way to get white money, we do it. Okay, so we just appeal to our own first usually, and then if it takes off, we get a little white money. So that's usually how it works for us. So so do you think Chappelle was overboard on any of his topics?
You know what? I was going to say the same thing. Do you think he was too harsh? I don't think he was harsh at all. I mean, it was, like I said, it was funny. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it twice, actually. And I don't have a problem with anybody that speaks their mind.
I thought he might have been a little harsh on a couple things, but I pushed it aside and I laughed at it. I mean, regardless of how I felt, he's the one that's got to stand by what he said, so he's got to live or die with it. I mean, I guess maybe the drug addict part was a little harsh for me because my mother was a drug addict, but still, I laughed. I mean, sometimes you got to just laugh at life, even if it's something that might affect you. I mean, I'd rather laugh at it than be upset and call him, all kind of things. And so
I saw an interview with him, and his whole, I guess, take on these Netflix series is that everybody thinks that pretty much anything is okay until it happens to them. Then it's not so funny.
Oh, and that's true. That's true. Most people are like that. I'm sure we are like that in some way. And sometimes that just shows us a little bit of hypocrisy in all of us.
Then there's some that thinks that he's attacking the stance on sensitivity that America is seemingly taking. Maybe he is. Like you were saying before, we're too sensitive. And every time I keep hearing or saying the word sensitive, I keep thinking about Ralph Tresvant's song, Sensitivity.
Uh-huh.
You need a man with sensitivity. And that's what's going on. There's a lot of dudes that's too damn sensitive. Even at my job, I'm dealing with guys that, are in their feelings like way too much, man, over things that are way too small, and get offended over the smallest things. And I don't understand. This is not the America that I grew up in, where men were men.
Well, it's kind of hard for a man to be a man when in our community over 50% of them are raised by women.
I was raised by a woman.
Okay, but
and I still carry the man code.
Yeah, but you had to have some male influence in your life to teach you how to be a man. I don't think a woman can teach a man how to be a man. A woman can raise a boy into a man. No, let me change that. I think I'm incorrect on that, because there are some traits that are good in both sexes. So you know, being outspoken and generous and
well, some things are innate.
So some of those traits transfer to either sex, no matter who's doing the raising or teaching. So I think maybe some of the
intricacies.
Yes, that's the word I'm trying to say. Maybe needed by a man to show a boy. But
yeah, because there's a lot of confusion when you're a young teenager. You're trying to figure stuff out and trying to figure your way and who you are, where you come from, and having a man around to help guide you and mentor you on some of those things are definitely a plus, especially for boys of color.
Yeah. So let me correct myself. So a woman can raise a man to be a man. I was incorrect.
Yeah. So I think that about calls it, man.
Wow, this show seems kind of short today, man. I feel like we need to keep talking about something else. So since we're done, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please comment on the video, and if you don't have comments, ask some questions, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. And tell your friends about the show, and thank you for watching. And once again, I'm LJ. This is
Matthew 417. And we'll see you at the comment